My gut is clearly telling me I gotta leave and I gotta get out before the sun goes down. So that's why I'm rushing, and that's why I'm talking to you to leave my...
Hello, welcome to another video. This is Forensic, and in this video I will be uncovering footage regarding a man who feels that he is being followed while camping. If you like videos like these, make sure to hit the like button, or you can simply let me know in the comments. Now that we've established an introduction, let's get on with the video.
Alright. I was planning on spending another night here, but I've had an overwhelming sense of something that I can't really explain. My intuition tells me that I need to leave, and the sense I get is that as I have been walking through down the path the last couple hours, I've been sensing threatening sensations, like I was being stalked, and I was completely ready to be here another night, which is very disappointing. But I follow my intuition.
This guy appears to be disturbed enough to completely abandon his camping trip. If we assume this is real, then there must be more than the fear of being alone, especially if this is an experienced camper.
Now, I've heard unusual sounds. Just sounds that I haven't heard over the past 30 hours since I've been here. Like I'm definitely being observed.
We get more information leading us to believe that this guy is doing a backpacking trip by himself in a pretty remote area. He talks about hearing unnatural sounds, which would be pretty explainable on populated trails.
I heard something earlier and I was going down this trail, something very unusual up in the trees. It was really strange, and it's hard for me to explain what it sounded like, but it was only a moment. I didn't see anything, and honestly, I haven't seen anything.
From the video, we can put together that he is hearing noises from clear up into the trees. Assuming this is real, this greatly reduces the chance that he is hearing another hiker. He says that he can only hear things and does not ever see anything. He also has a strong intention to get back before dark. It seems that whatever may be stalking him is doing a good job at staying unseen. However, we do not get much more detail about what exactly is scaring him until the next clip.
My gut is clearly telling me I gotta leave and I gotta get out before the sun goes down. So that's why I'm rushing, and that's why I'm talking to you to leave my that sense of, it's not dread. Oh, I've had little tastes of that feeling though, dread. But when you're out in the woods a lot, and you hear odd sounds that just aren't normal, and I don't know how to explain that. Those of you who do spend a lot of time out in the woods would understand what I mean. You know, critters moving around, and it's like sometimes tree break or branch break by the breeze, or trees fall in the woods all the time. I get all that, and I've heard that. But when you hear thumps, like something had jumped out of a tree, or scrambling, it's hard to explain.
So, from the video, we can assume from what he is saying that he's a fairly experienced person with the outdoors. He explains how he hears thumps and scrambling amongst the normal sounds of nature, which, by the way, you can hardly hear throughout the video. I'm just going to play this next clip so we can get to know a little bit more about his situation.
It's just kind of nice feeling like I can talk to someone. Not feel completely alone. And I'm not very used to being in the woods this far away by myself. And baby steps, take baby steps. That's how I look at it. I heard something that sounded like it came from the mine. See?
So, after this clip, we can understand now that the hiker is filming as a way to cope with the fear of the situation. In the video, the hiker hears something from what he describes as the mine, and he makes his way over to look at the mine. I think it was a little bit off trail from where he was trying to go. And when he does that, looking back at the footage, there's actually an object in the mine that looks like a face. It's just to the right of one of the logs in the mine. And this is not the only instance in which the hiker hears something out of the ordinary.
Ignorance is bliss. I tell ya. There's a... Damn it. The air is thin up here. Now, the police were up here earlier. The police were up here earlier, a couple hours ago. I went up to my car to get something, and shit. They said that there was a fire up here. That's a terrible feeling. That's a terrible feeling.
At the beginning of the video, the hiker goes silent and acts as if he heard something. After doing this, he begins to walk at a much faster pace up the hill than he was previously, and almost like he was trying to get away from something. As he's going up in this hill, he eventually gets to what we see as a gravel path. When he starts to walk on this path, he also talks about how he saw the police there before responding to a nearby fire, and how he also hopes for the police to still be there. When rewatching the footage, I could not really find or hear anything that caused the hiker to respond in such a way, but you can definitely tell that as the hiker got on the gravel path, things started to lighten up for him. He started to calm down a little bit more, and I think that's kind of the point where his fear kind of subsides, it goes away.
Man. Still don't feel like I'm out of it. So I'm going to keep the video going. Shit. It'd be great if the cops are still up here. I doubt it though. Believe me, this doesn't happen to me. It's never happened to me. But you know what? It's a good lesson. These are all good lessons. Always listen. Always listen to your intuition. I mean, you don't... It's not like, oh, you hear odd noise. That means it's got to be something bad. No, it's not what I'm talking about. Not at all. Or a series of strange sounds or things like that, even strange feelings. I mean, I had some strange feelings last night. Getting close. They are still here. Good. Fire department's still here. Alright, I'm gonna cut it off here. Thanks for being with me.
So when looking in the comments of this video, you can see a lot of comments that tell him to protect himself in one way or another. Like, please always carry a loaded firearm. What concerns me here is the lack of forest sounds. This would creep me out too. Something was there, a predator, unless the mic just isn't picking up these sounds. You get the feeling that you shouldn't be there, you don't know why, but you need to leave. We have a sense that warns us it's not the right place to be. That's where I like to be prepared. Where are the normal forest noises? Something was in there. It's eerily quiet, just like all the scary stories of encounters in the woods start off. Listen in the video. Not a single sound, meaning a predator or person was near. Soon as you get that feeling, you should get out straight away. I could read more of these, but you guys get my point. A lot of people are noticing things eerie about this video as well. Things like the lack of sound, which I've talked about a little bit previously, but that being one of them. It's the lack of sound that really drives people to be worried about his situation. I think that's the most eerie part of this whole video. Normally there is some kind of sound relating to nature, but just from what we've seen in this video, there's hardly to a zippo of nature sounds, which is really eerie. And analyzing this video, I think that to really understand if this is a real video or not, we also need to look at the context. So when I had originally seen this thread of videos, the first one that I saw was this one. However, it was not the first video in chronological order to be on the thread. I have decided to analyze and show you guys this one first, as it will make my perspective more relevant for you. Diving into the second video, we will see a little bit of context to the one we just saw, which is, again, something that I think is necessary to really get a grasp of how real this video might be. I'm not going to share my opinion. You guys can share yours in the comments, but we'll get into the next set of clips.
You might not be able to hear it, but there is a waterfall just about 100 feet away.
So I skipped to the very beginning of the video. I kind of skipped that part and started at a key point in the video, which relates to one of the comments, which we will investigate later. So far what we see is an aerial shot of where the guy is sitting, which again at the moment does not mean a lot to us quite yet. However, I will make it a point for you guys to notice the black figure in the middle right of the screen. I'll kind of replay the clip a little bit so you guys can see that. And in the next clip, the man in the video begins to divulge a little bit more about his situation so that us as viewers can have a little bit more context.
One of the things I did want to talk about is I had a little bout of fear last night, being out here by myself, and there is no one around for miles. And sometimes I could be pretty unnerving to be out here in the woods by yourself at night. But one of the things that I realized that really helped me was to be thankful. When I started to be thankful, it dispelled that fear.
So he talks about his experience the night before, about how he felt fear, and then talked about how he conquered his fear with gratitude, which felt really out of place for me after watching his previous video. However, as he begins to talk about some of the things that were scaring him, you may start to wonder if it was really a good idea or a good thing for him to just brush it off.
And even though I heard bumps and scrapes in the night outside my tent, I wasn't afraid. And that was a delightful learning experience for me.
So when hearing an experienced camper like this guy talk about not being scared by the things he hears in the night, it really surprises me. Alright, really surprises me that he can ignore and then casually talk about something that I am assuming is not usual, since it's coming from an experienced camper, alright? And it was brought to his attention. If it was me, alright, in that tent, I would either abandon everything, alright, and sprint to my car, or I would call for help. I don't care what it is, a satellite phone, a normal phone. I'm calling for help, and help better be on its way. And what's even more surprising to me is that he explains the reason for him being able to not be scared is just by being grateful. You heard it right, gratitude. Apparently, gratitude is just all it takes to get big balls, at least for this guy. Obviously, gratitude really works for him, so he actually begins to trail off on a tangent about it. A lot of it is actually really good stuff, but it doesn't really serve for the purpose of this video, so you guys probably won't really see much of it. It'll mostly just get cut out of the video.
We can apply that in everything in our lives. Not just being alone in the woods at night, but thankful when your life is bringing you things that scare you, whether they're things from the outside or things from the inside.
Again, even in this clip, it still surprises me that he's able to just be grateful, and that helps him all of a sudden with not being scared. I don't know, it's just really weird for me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe it's just me, but I mean, you guys could even tell me in the comments. I mean, if you hear something outside your tent, alright, and you know that it's not normal, tell me, are you going to just, is there any way you're going to not be scared? would thinking about something such as gratitude, it could be anything, but would thinking about something really help you in that situation? I know for me it wouldn't, but if you guys want to, just you can leave your own insight in the comments below. But I'm just telling you, for me, that makes no sense at all.
And I realized that even if there was something threatening outside my tent last night, being thankful wouldn't have stopped that event if there was something that wanted to hurt me. In a physical sense, I mean. But I think that we are so powerful. We are so powerful that our energy, which is fueled by our emotions and imagination, we can change our circumstances just by how we think, how we feel. That's what magic is all about.
It is interesting to me because he does not feel that his emotional state will not physically protect him, but he feels that it will, in a way, put him in good fortune. Now, I'm not sure if this guy is talking about the law of attraction, which is kind of off topic to this situation, at least in my opinion, but I do think that he has a sense of established confidence in having a positive emotional state. Just by the way he explains his situation, which also, by the way, is before he enters a panic attack and decides to desert his campsite and haul everything up the trail, all in that one day. I believe this is the same day that everything happened. So, something off camera happened that kind of gives us a disconnect that immediately made him want to leave.
I felt not just calmed with being thankful, but I felt at peace and even protected. Not that my thankfulness was protecting me, which I probably think it was, but I felt like being thankful, especially out here, especially being thankful for these wonderful living beings that surround me. The little plants, just the little plants here, let alone the fantastic and old trees.
So in this clip, he talks about being calmed with gratitude again. However, the focus of this clip is not really to go in more about his gratitude talk. It's more to take the attention to the black or shaded spot in the same place as before, the right middle of the screen. We will be taking a closer look at it once we get into the comments, but I just wanted to make sure, again, that we are aware and notice it. Could be potentially something that is seen, but could also not be. And again, we'll get into that.
And I am thankful when I'm able to spend time in nature all the time. But last night was a situation where I was truly scared, unnerved, and was able to change that. And I just wanted to share. I wanted to share that. It's easy to not share things and just keep them. But I wanted to show how magnificent this place is.
Alright, so when he finishes with talking about how he could change his emotions with gratitude, he then turns the camera again into the woods. You will notice that the black figure looks more like a shadow, and you will even see this mentioned as we begin to explore the video's comments next. Alright, so I brought you guys here to the video. Thankfulness overcomes fear, and when we scroll down and look into the comments, we can see a comment by MaQuad12. It says, "Say man, I think you should have someone look at 1024. There's something there bulky and large. Right center frame. At 1224, it's either not there or moved behind some branches or something." So if we go to 1024, right center frame. So what I believe he's talking about is something right there. That little spot right there. And I believe that's the only thing. They mentioned it as right center frame. So a little bit to the right. And that looks to be what they might be seeing. However, when we go to 1224, right, it doesn't look like it's there anymore. It looks more like a shadow. I could just be seeing something, or maybe I'm not seeing it right. Maybe you guys can help me out, but from what I'm seeing, maybe I'm just small brain, but from what I'm seeing a shadow there, and that's the only bulky and large thing. Unless if they're talking about 1024 is when it's not there. So here's what 1024 looks like. And I'm not seeing anything bulky or large right center frame. I'm seeing trees, and I'm seeing that black figure there, which I believe is a shadow. Just gonna put it out there. Then when we go to 1224, it looks like the exact same thing. Well, it looks more like a shadow, in my opinion. It definitely looks like a shadow. Maybe it's that tree coming down, and just it's a matter of angle, of camera perspective. Also, in the very beginning of the video, where I pointed out how it would come together with the comments, which what makes me think it's a shadow, is this part right here where he does his very first pan of his aerial surroundings. You can see right there, it's also the same type of thing, like a shadow right there. But this time it actually does not look like it's part of the tree, which is actually really interesting. It could just be an illusion or some other type of error by perspective. But that's a very interesting thing. I guess something very interesting to see right there. Doesn't look as much of a shadow. Anyways, after looking at the comments, you can kind of see he posted this video, I think the same time he posted the other one, and somehow he went from being calm from thankfulness to being scared. And I think what I want to do next is kind of really deeply analyze both these videos while taking everything in the context. I'll just go over everything to kind of conclude and summarize, and maybe get a little bit of what you guys think in the comments. Alright, I'm gonna tell you guys that I don't think that there is anything stalking this guy in the woods for multiple reasons. For one, you can never hear anything that he is saying he can hear, every time he stops on trail that where he supposedly heard something, you can never hear what he heard. And I think that alone makes me skeptical. I feel like if he can hear it, at least one of the several times that he's heard something, I feel like the camera should have picked it up. So, and if his camera settings are super low, that completely debunks the claim of there being no animal noises in the woods. And if that debunks that claim, then that means that he was lying about being freaked out by the lack of sound. So I think that right there is a huge hit against his claim of being stalked. There's also the chance that every time he thinks he hears something, he might be misperceiving what's going on around him. There might not actually be something there that he's hearing, but he thinks he's hearing it. He mentioned how it was his first time camping and by himself so far away, and how he was not used to it. And I think that maybe it's possible that he was just scaring himself, and something happened to make him feel a little bit more paranoid to begin with. And I think that paranoia continued into him thinking he can hear things falsely. And I think it's just I think I watched a 30-minute clip. I guess total for you guys it'll be around 30 minutes, including what I have to say. Probably a little bit more, but I think I watched a bunch of video of a guy who was just simply paranoid, and that's my take on it. However, other people might have different takes. If you have something else that you think might have happened to this guy, feel free to share it in the comments. And I know earlier in this video, I told you guys that I would not give my opinion, but I felt that I probably should, because I think that you guys probably wanted to hear my opinion. If not, also tell me in the comments. The comments are a useful tool for just about anything that you want to have heard. They don't get filled up that much, at least comparing to my last video. So feel free to say your thoughts in the comments. I'll make sure to read all of them. I think that if there is anything that I did miss, make sure to just tell me in the comments. Just make sure to put in the timestamp so that I can locate the exact part. And if there is stuff that I did miss, I'll make another video, I guess, on everything that's happened to this guy. And anyways, if you guys like videos like these, make sure to hit that like button. You can also tell me in the comments if you like the video. And if you guys like what I do here on the channel, feel free to subscribe. And thank you guys for your time with watching this video. And I'll have another one out within around 3 days of this one uploading. I know this one took a while to get out. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye.